Say hello to my friend Cleo. She is a service dog, and right here we have Alicia. She is with CC Canine, and basically you guys train service dogs,
right?
For people who have PTSD.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's
okay,
correct.
So let's talk about it because I think we've all seen right now the picture that beautiful, sad picture of Sully, and she was President Bush's dog. So we've seen the picture of Sully right next to the casket. We've all seen that,
Right.
And so that got me thinking about wanting to know, the grieving process service dogs go through.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to talk to Alicia about that, because she's our expert. She knows more about it. So yeah, just enlighten us. Let us, how does it work for service dogs?
Right. So service dogs definitely go through a very difficult grieving process when losing a handler. They're very bonded to their handlers, and part of, like I said, the foundation that kind of starts a service dog is the willingness and ability to work for someone. So working with someone, every day, wanting to really work for them and having that bond makes it really difficult when someone is lost. So when the handler is lost, these dogs are really feeling that void. They don't have any understanding of what happened. They just know that that person isn't there anymore, and they don't really get any explanation further than that. Dogs think of things in very simple ways, so they just don't really understand what's going on. All they know is that their person is gone, so they can get very depressed, definitely, absolutely.
So is it fair to say that they can actually take it even harder than us, when somebody passes?
Right. Absolutely. I completely think that dogs take it a little bit harder than humans. Humans are given, when someone passes away, you're given an explanation of kind of what happened. Dogs don't get that. They don't speak our language. We can't really say to them, look, this is what happened. Your owner passed away. They just know, like I said, this person is gone. This person I want to work for, want to be with, this person I love is gone. I don't know where they are. I don't know what happened. So they don't get that explanation. They don't get that understanding.
So we're talking about, passings, but what about when there's like divorce involved? Is it the same process?
Absolutely.
Separation?
Yeah, definitely. Again, all they're feeling is that loss. All they know is that loss. They don't get any kind of explanation, any kind of understanding of what's going on. They can't comprehend that. They think of things on a very simple, from a very simple mindset, so they don't get any kind of explanation. So to them, a loss is a loss. They're still going to grieve, the same way.
And let's talk about your company, the service dogs you guys have here, because this is specifically for PTSD.
PTSD. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how do they help? First of all, let's talk about, how they help their owners.
PTSD service dogs make it so that someone with PTSD is able to, do their day-to-day tasks, more comfortably, more simply. They can go out and feel really comfortable knowing that they have their dog, and they're able to now perform these tasks that they weren't necessarily able to do, because of their PTSD prior to getting a service dog.
Okay, and let's talk about the training, because they go through like a rigorous training to become service dogs. Can any dog become a service dog?
So for the most part, most dogs can become service dogs. There are certain kind of occasions with dogs that have dog aggression, things like that aren't necessarily, you can't have a dog aggressive dog being a service dog if they don't get along with other dogs, but for the most part, if there's the ability to work and the want to work with their owner, and there's that owner-handler bond, they can definitely be a service dog.
And let's talk about Cleo here. She is too cute. How old is Cleo?
She's 5. She's actually a rescue. The owner of our company was a volunteer with Stockton Animal Shelter, and Cleo's adoption process wasn't really going too well. She got returned to the animal shelter, actually, and then he decided to take her in and adopt her. So now she's living a very comfortable life.
And when we see service dogs out and about, we normally see this right here. It says "Do not pet." Can you tell us a little bit about what's behind this?
Right.
Not petting dogs.
So the do not pet stuff is definitely, these dogs are being used as medical equipment. They're really helping these owners do things that they can't do. They have a disability. They can't do, day-to-day things. So the do not pet is just for, people seeing these dogs. I know dogs are super inviting. Everyone's instinct when they see a dog is to want to go up to it and pet it. But with service dogs, like I said, they're doing a job. They're performing a task. It's like you wouldn't go up to someone who's in a wheelchair and say, hey, can I try out your wheelchair for a second? It's the same kind of concept. It's just to prevent people from coming up to these dogs and, distracting them from their task and keeping them from doing their jobs.
Makes sense. And Alicia, how long have you been training?
I've been training for 2 years now.
Okay, tell me about, what made you want to become a trainer. And
So I actually started with, our company also offers personal protection dog training.
Yeah.
So that's what I started with. I have a personal protection dog at home, and that's kind of where I started. Once I started working there, I got a little bit more passionate once I was able to see, all of the service dogs and the difference they can really make in an owner's life. So I wanted to become a part of that.
And is it, I know earlier we talked about, you mentioned the fact that, service dogs can have maybe have an even harder time
Right.
when their owner passes. Why is that?
So these dogs, you got to think about, what they're doing. Their day-to-day life, their everyday is working for this person, and the bond that they have, the bond that is built when you're doing this kind of work with your owner is just a lot stronger than a pet and owner bond. It's a handler service dog bond. It's really difficult to explain. It's a lot stronger, and there's a lot of love there, and a lot of they depend on each other.
Yeah.
So when a service dog loses their handler or vice versa, it's a big void that's left there.
And let's talk about, service dogs and helping PTSD, people who suffer with PTSD. What is some of the help that they get from these dogs?
So dogs, as far as PTSD service dogs go, they can be trained to do a lot of different things based on, kind of, it's tailored to what the owner needs. So a lot of times they come in with, these specific things that they need help doing. So the dogs were able to train to, do and really complete those specific tasks. There are some examples, proximity alerts. So for someone with PTSD, going into a large crowd can be very difficult. A dog is able to alert their owner, how close someone is to them, where the person is, things like that. And then there's also PTSD service dogs trained to, kind of get their owner's attention. If their owner is having, an episode, the dog is able to jump up on them, get their attention, really nag them once they pick up on those signals that they're kind of getting into that headspace, and these dogs are able to get them out of that place,
And you mentioned a story earlier about a mother who had severe PTSD and how her dog helped her out. Can you tell us about that?
So we have a lot of clients, like I said, that aren't able to do, simple day-to-day things. We've had a mom that had kids, and because of her PTSD wasn't able to even pick up her kids.
Oh, wow.
She wasn't able to go to the grocery store. She wasn't able to do all of these things that kind of moms need to do.
Right.
So with her service dog, she's now able to do all of those things. She's able to go out and pick up her kids, go to the grocery store. She's given that level of comfort that she wouldn't have had before.
Wow. And how long does it take you to train a service dog?
So we do offer an owner-trained service dog program. So that's when someone comes to us, we evaluate their dog, see if it's suitable for service dog work. If it is, they're able to become very involved in the training process with their dog. That kind of process typically takes around 16 weeks, but it definitely depends on what kind of service work the dog needs to be trained to do.
Right.
Average is around 16 weeks.
Gotcha. Perfect. And I think somebody back at the station wanted to know, normally how much does that run for?
So our owner-trained service dog program is, I believe, we are one of the few companies that offers it, and it is $1,500.
Got it.
You're very involved in the service training. It kind of helps you solidify that bond with your dog. But there are, we do offer pre-trained service dogs. I think we are the cheapest in the country right now, and ours pre-trained run at $5,000.
And we were talking about a list earlier, because at this point there's a list of, can we talk a little bit about that? And
yeah, definitely. So there are people that, that is a lot of money. There are people that don't necessarily have the means to support something like that. So we have a waiting list for veterans or people with PTSD that do need a service dog, that just don't have the means
Right.
to purchase one. And a lot of outside companies offer sponsorships, things like that, to cover the cost of that service dog.
Got it. Hi, cutie. What's going on? It's chilly out here, isn't it? Well, thank you so much, Alicia,
Absolutely.
for taking the time to talk to us.
Absolutely.
Let me get this shot over here so you guys can see how cute Miss Cleo is. She is adorable. And again, she's 5 years old, is that right? 5 years old. She is a pit, and yeah, she's too adorable. All right, let's see. Let me turn this around just for a quick second. Well, yeah, we're going to have more information on service dogs and the grieving process they go through as well when their owner passes.